So it's widely accepted that as the founders of the craft beer scene, the US are the unrivaled, undisputed champions of craft beer. And it's also generally accepted that up until recently, the UK has probably been tailing about 10 years behind their US counterparts.
But Chris, what about now? What about today? In 2023, there has to be UK breweries that can stand up to the US.
Well, that's what we're going to find out tonight, because we have 3 beers from 3 legendary US breweries. We're going to put them up against the British equivalent, blind taste them, score them, and then find out who really is the king of beers. And it sure as shit ain't Budweiser. Okay, so we have our 3 US breweries here. We have a Pastry sour from the Veil, we have a tipper from Treehouse, and we have the legendary Focal Banger from the Alchemist.
The original New England IPA.
The OG New England IPA. And we're going to pair them up against
Dun, dun, dun.
British equivalents. Here we go.
So we have, from Brew York, we have a pastry sour called Katy Berry, named after the famous singer Katy Berry. We have a tipper from one of my favourite breweries, Track. And then we have a IPA, which is going to stand up against Focal Banger. And this is from a little brewery called Nothing Bound, who are one of our favourite up-and-coming breweries.
Yes, local brewery to us, but they literally are probably the best pale ale brewery that you've never heard of.
The Daya Slayer.
The Daya Slayer and all the rest. So we're going to be actually doing a feature with Dave, who's the brewer there. But for now, let's get stuck in with this matchup. Okay, so here we are for round 1. Now, this is the pastry sours round, so obviously we have Dub Raz Tasty by the Veil, which is a smoothie-style sour ale with double raspberry and milk sugar. And then that's going up against Katy Berry Blueberry Pastry Sour. So
Straight out of the box, just the colour difference is insane. I think you can immediately identify which one's which. Going by colour alone,
yeah,
I think I know which one I want to go for.
but you know what? Let's have a crack. Which one are we going to go for? Ooh.
Well, I'm going to go for the one on the right.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. The pastry sourness kicked it on the back. Actually, there's a little bit of that kind of biscuit texture, and the aftertaste on that. It's got a fair amount of tartness on there. Hasn't made me pucker.
No.
Not that you can see.
Like you say, there's not a lot of sourness there. It's more just quite sweet. I am getting quite a lot of the pastriness, the kind of biscuitiness. I'm getting quite a lot
after the fact, yeah.
Nice beer. Let's try this bad boy.
I'm really looking forward to this one.
Oh, just that smells like raspberry puree.
I wonder which one that is then out of the raspberry and blueberry beers we've got in front of us.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's good. Just for the record, I really dislike most pastry sours, to be honest with you. And the few I have enjoyed have coincidentally been American. Bar springs to mind, actually.
Bar Brewhouse, yeah.
That's
those. I think with the pastry sours in the US, they tend to utilise fluff a lot. That marshmallow kind of thing. I think that really kind of adds to it, whether it's adding a bit of sweetness or I don't really know what it brings to the party in terms of thickness, but I noticed that with all of the American pastry sours that I've had, they have this kind of thickness, like it's proper smoothie.
The difference between texture of these two is night and day, actually. That's I think that hits the brief. But I think out of both of these, what I'm getting the most is diabetes.
Final out on this one, I guess. I think probably what would have been a better matchup for this would have been Vault City, because Vault City for me are second to none in terms of brewing a sour beer that is so fucking thick.
Yeah, we chose this one in particular though because it's roughly the same ABV, it's roughly the same flavour profiles. I think they've both got lactose in, yeah, so that one's milk sugar, that one's lactose, so there's a bit of a background to both of them that kind of crosses over.
When I first tried it, first sip of that and then first sip of that, it was no contest. That one was going to be the winner. It's closer now, having tried that after trying that.
Yeah, I prefer that at face value, but actually I could probably drink more of that.
But yeah, so I suppose if we go for a vote on this,
I think I'm going to go for the one that hits the brief the most for me, and that is this one here.
yeah, I'm going to go for that as well, just based on that first hit, the first sip. Loved it.
Boom. Right, round 2 then. So we're now into tipper territory, the silliest of the beers. So we have a ridiculous tipper from the legendary Treehouse. Treehouse being, in my head, one of the sort of OGs of American brewing, but actually the photo, I think it was 2013 they started.
Yeah.
Sort of probably picked me up on that. Against Track, who are based in Manchester, and definitely probably one of my favourite
Yeah,
in the UK, right?
It's a shame. It's a shame we couldn't get a gold top for this, because the gold. We did actually look at doing their gold top tipper, because they do have, because this one, the breakfast shake, it's a triple IPA brewed with lactose, sugar, banana, and strawberry. What would have been good is matching it with a track tipper, the gold top, because it's got lactose in, and it would be most matching in terms of body and taste and everything. But the most recent one that Track have done is a collab with the Half, and that would really kind of muddy the waters, because obviously that's also an American collab, and we're doing US versus UK beers, so can't be having anyone sitting on the fence. Pick a side.
Pick a side, you coward.
So yeah,
Which one do you want to try first?
left. Go left.
The second that went up to my nose, I think I knew what it was going to be. And actually, again, when it hits the back of the mouth, back of the tongue, it's kicking out some big flavours there, and they're actually quite distinct.
What's interesting is, I mean, I'm assuming a lot here. The Treehouse tipper is 9%, and the Track tipper is 10.5%.
Which is wrong. You expect the American ones to be the big
I'd expect,
ones,
yeah, bigger and yeah.
But yeah, big, thick, chewy, that kind of...
It's boozy. I think my point was going to be, assuming it is the one that we think it is, for 9%, that's boozy.
I always think, so when you do these big American IPAs, New England IPAs in particular, I just think Skittles, chewy American sweets.
Now you've said Skittles, I can.
Yeah.
And while we assume, let's get stuck into the second beer. Let's try that one.
Don't let me down.
Oh, that's fresh.
Low. Dank. The classic burnt hair smell.
Love that burnt hair.
Now
That's Moorish.
10.5%. I think that tastes 10.5%. I think that even tastes more booper. If it is the ones we think it is, obviously it's stronger. I don't think that's carrying the booze particularly well, but I'm not sure if it's because I've just had that as well.
I don't know. I think that tastes less boozy than that.
Well, isn't it nice to disagree? You're awesome. I'm really struggling to drink these two together because that one is really overpowering in terms of the sweet.
I was about to say, have you tried that after that?
No.
Because I'm getting different stuff from that after drinking that. Just interested.
Holy banana. That is even more pronounced now, actually.
Yeah.
This is going to be a problem here for me. Are we doing this based on which one's better, which one we prefer, or which ones hit the brief?
I mean, I think ultimately you've got to put those things together and decide. Not in that way. It's tough. I've actually polished mine off because I love it.
Absolute gannet. Should we vote?
Yeah.
Which one are you going for?
Just so that we're definitely not manipulating the numbers here. Just push forward, look to the lens, and push forward either right or left for the one that you're going to vote for. 3, 2, 1. So, I mean, interesting. We've both put across the same beer. What was your reasoning on behind that?
With me, 9 times out of 10, it's the sweetness that doesn't ruin a beer for me, but it's not what I enjoy the most. I just think the one on the right is It's got more bitterness. It's the hops are more pronounced.
It's balanced. The sweetness is a bit of a deal breaker sometimes, especially in the big ABV beers. They need to be able to hide it, otherwise it kind of comes off like a undiluted cordial or juice, and it's just too much. Whereas that, I've got hops, I've got sweetness, I've got fucking everything. I love that beer. Okay, so it's the main event.
Excited about this.
David versus Goliath. So, first and foremost, before we kind of go ahead with this, these cans in the UK are pretty rare to get. He had to sell his kidney to get one, and this will be the first time either of us have tried it.
It's the first time. I'm really excited about it.
What is this all about? Drink from the can? Because I just saw, I was like, what? We can't do that. It's a blind tasting.
Yeah, so apologies for the Alchemist purists out there, but we've had to do it. When the Alchemist created hazy IPA, and they were at the forefront of pushing this style, people complained about it. Sediment in the glass.
Oh, it's hazy. It's not clear. Should be clear.
Some would call it hazy. Everyone calls it hazy now. But yeah, so sediment in the beer. People complain about it, and there's like solid drink if they can. And it's a running joke more than anything else, I think.
And I suppose going from, just looking at Focal Angle before we move on, it's an American IPA, 7% on the nose, and it's Citra Mosaic, just a 2-hopper. What we have paired this against is not a 2-hopper. It's going to be, there's 4 hops in this, and they aren't American. There's some American.
No. Mosaic is. Sorry, they've got Galaxy, Nassau, and Matecas.
Yeah.
Outside of the Mosaic, it's New Zealand, Australia.
Yeah, so nothing bound. Now, it would be quite easy to look for a verdant beer, for me, that has Citra and Mosaic, and try...
Why don't you just marry verdants?
But it'd be easy enough to just sort of say, right, let's find that beer, and then let's have the matchup of all matchups, and go bang. Yeah.
Where's the fun in that?
But yeah, and also I couldn't find a Citra Mosaic Verdant IPA.
You would not
that
believe
was also 7%.
You would not believe how difficult it's been to pair all these beers. Citra Mosaic in particular, 10 a penny.
Loads of them.
Tons of them. Oh my god.
But yeah, so we know Dave from Nothing Bound, and he's just literally killing it at the moment. He's done some collaborations with Daya. He's done a collaboration with Northern Monk for the Patrons project.
They call him the Daya Slayer.
They do call him the Daya Slayer. That's how he's known locally. And yeah, he's just got a great reputation for just knocking out pretty much pales and IPAs that are just absolutely smashable, thick, and they look like custard. And I think on that note, probably... I think I might be able to tell which is the Nothing Bound based on colour.
And also, I think if you were a kind of aficionado in the world of the Alchemist, you could look at that, though the camera's picking up, and identify pretty much straight away.
What are we going to go for?
I know where I'm going, Chris. Well, I think we've got to do the Focal Banger. It's a first for both of us. This is a bit of a moment. So
yeah, cheers. Focal Banger, first time.
Banger.
Oh, I'm in.
Now, I'm going to try and pick faults in this as well because, hey, why not? This recipe hasn't changed in a long time.
There's not much to say about it. It's literally, it's one to just sit back and just think, this is...
It's almost at the purest level. It smells like Citra. It smells like Mosaic. It tastes like Citra. It tastes like Mosaic. It's soft. It's well balanced. There's a little bit of bitterness to it, but it's not overpowering. There's a good chunk of bitterness to it. But it's so well balanced in the...
There's a fuck ton of melon in it.
And that's the citrus and the fruit is just so gorgeous. That is a cracker.
I love that.
Yeah. More please.
Yeah, I think...
If you want to pay £50 a can for more...
For 7%, I mean that's better than pretty much a lot of dippers out there.
They haven't bugged around with this. This is just a really pure version of this style of beer, which they created, they mastered, and they've just kept at a level without buggering around with it. And
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Shall we just jump into?
Well, yeah, from Vermont through to Bewdley.
Yeah.
And we called it David and Goliath, quite rightly. As Chris said, almost a bit unfair to throw up such a new brewery against a very established, very well renowned and fucking spectacular beer. However, we're confident that Showdown can stand up to this, so this is going to be really interesting.
Cheers.
Cheers. There's the colour.
Ooh.
How different are they?
They are, but
It's almost like choosing two beers with different hops and it's going to create a different taste experience when you drink it.
it is. But I'm getting the same kind of journey with that. It's a soft fruit party.
Oh, God, not again.
I'm kind of getting just, there's a lot of fruit going on there. A lot of things are happening, but not in an overwhelming, not in an overpowering way. It's just sort of like, yeah, man, we're here. We just drink us in.
They're both incredibly well balanced, but incredibly soft, I think, in the blend. You get in the bitterness, you get in the fruits, but they're not too jarring different worlds that can throw you off. I think with a lot of sort of modern IPAs. So this is a good matchup.
This is a very good matchup.
This is a bloody good matchup.
Okay, so I suppose we should probably, at this point,
This is tough.
so I'm going to take my last swigs.
This is tough.
So we're going to do the same again, because I think at the moment, it's pretty much even. If everything's fallen the way we think it's fallen,
Yes.
I think we're pretty much level pegging.
Yes. Let's do this.
If it's not the case, then there'll be some graphics making me look very silly right now, popping up on the video. Focal Banger versus Forming by Nothing Bound. Left or right, which one are you going to go for? 3, 2, 1.
Right, before we get to the scores, just want to throw something your way. A little thank you from us to you. We've partnered with Hull Beer to give you guys at home 20% off beer by visiting hull-beer.com. 20% off by using the code PBTV. Just enter that at checkout, get your discount.
Focal Banger versus Forming by Nothing Bound. 3, 2, 1. Again. Not good for me, because I'm sporting the Lord Kitchener. I'm trying to get away with that. So, at the top of this video, we were posing the question, can UK breweries compete with US breweries? And I think regardless of what the score is, the answer is yes.
The only winner here is beer.
But regardless of the score being 4-2 in favour of the US, it's been a really good experience doing a blind tasting. A lot more stress than we were anticipating. But we do want to be doing more of these, and we will be doing more of these because Hull have some more American beers coming in. We'll do a couple of these. We'll see how this one flies.
Yeah. If you guys would like to do a drink along at some point as well, we can arrange that, I reckon. That might be something we can do. We can all have a good input together. Anyway, so America, legends, keep up what you're doing, but we're definitely coming for you.
We are coming for you. This isn't over. 4-2 this time. But, that's just kind of like our opinion.
Man.